Today marks the anniversary of a very dark day in American history. 15 years after 9/11, people across mid-Missouri paid their respects. Good evening, I'm Brittany Pieper.
And I'm Justin Kollar. One organization, Mid-Missouri Peace Workers, says politicians have taken advantage of American grief in order to feed what they call the war machine. Tonight, the Peace Workers hosted the No More Victims gathering for the 15th straight year. The event was focused on healing, reconciliation, and prevention of future violence. It featured two keynote speakers, followed by the screening of activist Norman Solomon's movie, War Made Easy. One of those speakers, the president of Columbia's Veterans for Peace, says it's time politicians stop using 9/11 as an excuse to make war.
It was initiated, this war against Iraq, sending troops to Afghanistan. It was initiated on a lie. The Iraq war, that monstrous thing that we did, the hundreds of thousands of people have died there, had nothing to do with the attacks of 9/11.
Betts says both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are, quote, every bit of the warrior our previous presidents have been. He says it's time Americans start demanding answers as to why we are still engaging in war in the Middle East. Investigation is ongoing after a 24-year-old man reported his car was shot at 2 different times early this morning. Police say the incident happened around 2:15 a.m. Police say the man reported shots were fired at his car at the intersection of Providence Road and Vandiver Drive. The man said the 2 cars then followed him to the area of County Squire Court and Creasy Springs Road and fired more shots at his car. Officers say they found shell casings at both locations. No injuries were reported. Coyote Hill Christian Children's Home turned 25 years old today. The organization seeks to provide abused and neglected children in Boone County a safe home environment. Missouri State Representative Chuck Basie presented a House resolution today to honor the anniversary. People gathered at the facility in Harrisburg for food, lawn games, and even some horseback riding. Development Director Carrie Hopkins says Coyote Hill's methods are what makes the children's home different.
Coyote Hill is essentially a hybrid between a traditional foster family and a residential care agency. We marry those professional services with that blended family model that really gives kids in foster care a safe place to be a kid and a safe place to heal and then also grow and dream.
The organization encouraged
like fall with temperatures in the 70s for another game day.
So I know it's only mid-September, but do you feel like we're done with summer now?
I don't think we'll hit another 90. If we don't do it by some random chance on Tuesday, then I think we're going to be okay.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Kenton.
You're welcome.
Up next, protests against the Dakota Access Pipeline have taken a turn.
What happened at today's protests coming up.
One person is dead and more than a dozen others are injured after a bus crash near the Denver International Airport. Police say a school bus was carrying at least 17 students and coaches from Legacy High School when it drove off an embankment of a terminal approach. They say the female bus driver died and all of the other passengers were taken to local hospitals. Several are believed to be in critical condition. Police are working to investigate the cause of this crash. A Chicago man says he's fed up with the rising crime in his neighborhood, and since he believes police can't keep up with criminals, he found someone else to do the job. DeMudd hired a security firm to walk his neighborhood with guns and handcuffs 6 days a week, 8 hours a day. His neighborhood's issues include drug dealing, prostitution, and loitering. Mudd says the patrols have been effective, but not an overall solution.
I have solved the problem for my neighborhood, but what I've done is I've just pushed the problem to another street corner in Chicago. And that's not the results that we as citizens should be looking for.
Mudd says he's hoping the city would tackle the root causes of crime. Otherwise, he says people in other areas could end up doing the same thing he did. Major parties have agreed to begin a ceasefire in Syria tomorrow as part of an agreement brokered by the U.S. and Russia. But fighting has continued over the weekend. This weekend saw bombs raining down from warplanes across the country, with the government stepping up a campaign of airstrikes on opposition-controlled areas. Dozens of people were killed in a series of bombing raids in Aleppo and Idlib. The ceasefire would allow much-needed humanitarian aid into blockaded areas of Syria.
The Mizzou offense erupted last night and got Barry Odom's first win as Mizzou's head football coach.
Quarterback Drew Lock on the historic night, as well as Cards and Royals. Highlights up next in sports.
An adorable baby sea lion is enthralling audiences at a theme park in China. The 1-month-old male sea lion has been showing off his performing skills at a pool at the park. He splashes around with his 8-year-old mom, who's quite talented herself. She can play the saxophone and dance. Trainers at the park say the baby has inherited his mother's gift of performing. Here's a look at what we're following for KOMU 8 News after Sunday Night Football.
A volcano erupted on the remote Indian island of Reunion. It was the second eruption this year. More details coming up right after the game.
Well, temperatures tomorrow right around 56 to start off the day, 82 in the afternoon. It's going to feel very seasonal for the next couple of days. Then showers and thunderstorms arrive late Tuesday, heading into Wednesday, continue off and on throughout the rest of the week. Could have another 1 to 2 inches by the end of it, but looks like another fall-like weekend ahead.
I think we need to get one of those sea lions here.
I would love
I
that.
think it was adorable.
That's our time for now. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.